Hello, everybody. Welcome to Voices Big and Small. And on this episode, we're going to be taking a look at um, Vancouver-based voice actor Brad Swaile. Of course, known for among the works that he's known for include Amuro Ray from Mobile Suit Gundam, Nightcrawler from X-Men Evolution. Um, Light Yagami from Death Note, and quite a few others. So, without no further ado, let's get started. Let's take a look. First off, we'll take a look at Mr. Swaile, some background information, basic biographical background information on Mr. Brad Swaile. So, no, from what I understand, let me see here. Gotta just check something. Brad Swaile was, of course, born on December 26th, 1976, which would make him 43 years old, in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And I will, in a moment here, talk more about his, kind of go over some of his basic info, and then I'll go over his roles. So, Brad Swaile is a Canadian voice actor. His major roles include Light Yagami in Death Note, Rock in Black Lagoon, and Nightcrawler in X-Men Evolution. In the 90s, he voiced Moose in Rama One Half and Teen Gohan in the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z. He has also voiced multiple roles in the Mobile Suit Gundam series, including Amuro Ray of Mobile Suit Gundam, Quatre, um, Raberba Winner in Gundam Wing, Dirka Eisman in Gundam Seed, All Nieder in Gundam Seed Destiny, and Setsuna F. Saleh in Gundam 00. In video games, he voices Jin Kazama in Street Fight Tekken. So here's a little bit more of the biographical information on Brad Swaile. Swaile attended Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School in Vancouver. He graduated from Quarantine University with a degree in graphic and visual design. Swaile has acted in several animated series. One of his earliest roles was in the English dub of Rama One Half, where he voiced Moose, and it's spelled Mousse, basically like the French dessert, basically chocolate, as in chocolate mousse. Um, when the Ocean Group dubbed Dragon Ball Z in the mid 1990s, Swaile voiced adult Gohan. He also voiced Nightcrawler in X-Men Evolution, voiced Ace in My Little Ponytails. In the late 2000s, he voiced lead characters Rock in Black Lagoon and Light Yagami in the hit anime Death Note. He has reprised his role in the latter's Death Note live action film dub. Swaile is known for many roles in the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise. These roles include Amuro Ray in Mobile Suit Gundam, Quatre. Okay, and I read all that earlier, so um, so now let's get kind of the breakdown of just when he did a lot of these roles. So of course, his earliest role I gathering here, based on what I'm finding here, was as back in 1992, where he was cast as the voice of Ace in My Little Ponytails. Then in 1993, he would, of course, be cast as the English voice of Moose as well as Sentaro Daimonji in the Rama One Half anime. He would reprise his role as Moose in Rama One Half, Big Trouble in Nekonron, China, in the 1994 Rama One Half movie. Then in 1996, he would actually take on the role as the English voice of Yusaku Godai in Maizano Koku, taking over the role after the first 39 episodes from Jason Gray Stafford. Also in 1996, of course, he would provide the English voice for the older Gohan in the Ocean Dub's Dragon Ball Z franchise, or Ocean Studios dub of Dragon Ball Z. Then in 1998, he was cast as the English voice of the young Kimba in The New Adventures of Kimba the White Lion. Then in 2000, he would be cast in Mobile Suit Gundam Wing as the English voice of Quatre Raberba Winner. Also in 2000, he'd be cast in X-Men Evolution as the voice of Nightcrawler Kurt Wagner. And then as we move ahead to 2001, he would be cast in the lead role of Otaru Mamiya as the English voice of Otaru Mamiya in the anime Saber Marionette J. And then in the Ocean dub of Mobile Suit Gundam, he'd be cast as the English voice of Amuro Ray. He would reprise his role as Amuro Ray in the Mobile Suit Gundam video game Journey to Jaburo. Also in 2001, he would be casting English voice of Yota in video game I. In Zoid's New Century Zero, he'd be cast as the English voice of Harry Champ. As we now move ahead to 2002, one of his first roles in 2002 was being cast as the English voice of Kyosuke Date in the anime Soul Taker. Then in Hamtaro, he was cast as the English voice of Maxwell. Then in the Mobile Suit Gundam anime movie Char's Counterattack, he would reprise his role as Amuro Ray. In Inuyasha, he was cast as the English voice of Nobunaga. In Project Arms, he'd be cast as the English voice of Takeshi Tomoe. Also in 2002, he'd be cast in the anime Arjuna as the English voice of Chris Hawken. Then as we move ahead to 2003, in Melty Lancer, the animation, he'd be cast as the voice of Legel. Then in Mega Man NT Warrior, he'd be casting his voice of Lan Hikari. In the Junkers Come Here anime movie, he'd be cast as the English voice of Keisuke Kimura. In Boys Over Flowers, he'd be cast as the English voice of Kazuya Aoki. In Zoid's Fusers, he'd be cast as the English voice of RD. In Infinite Revias, the Space Odyssey anime, he'd be cast as the English voice of Koji Aiba. He would reprise his role as Amuro Ray in the Mobile Suit Gundam video game Encounters in Space. Then, as we move ahead to 2004, in Mobile Suit Gundam Seed, he'd be cast as the English voice of Dirka Eisman. And then in Transformers Energon, he was cast as the English voice of Kicker. 2004. In Dragon Drive, he was cast as the English voice of Reiji Ozora. In Nurse Witch Komugi, he would be cast. He would just reprise his role from Soul Taker as the English voice of Kyosuke Date. He would reprise his role as the English voice of Takeshi Tomoe in 2004 as in Project Arms, the second chapter. In Dokoita, he'd be cast as the lead role of Dokoita Shizuo Sakurazaki. Also in 2004, in Mega Man NT Warrior Access, he would reprise his role as the English voice of Lon Hikari. In the Daichis, he'd be cast as the English voice of Yashiro. Then as we move ahead to 2005, again, another lead role for him as he'd be cast the English voice of Rumina Asagi. In Hikaru no Go, the anime about the game of Go, he'd be cast as the ancient as a ghostly Go player, Sai, the English voice of Sai Fujiwara. Then in the English voice, then as we move ahead to 2006, in the Powerpuff Girls Z anime, he'd be cast as the English voice of Hiro Johnny Cosmo. In the first season of Shakugan no Shana, the ocean dub, that he'd be cast as the English voice of Kishaku Sato. Then as we move ahead to 2007, in the Black Lagoon anime, he'd be cast the English voice of Rokuro Rock Okajima. In the Dynasty Warriors Gundam video game, he would reprise his role as the English voice of Amurore. Also in 2007, he'd be cast in the Death Note anime as the English voice of Light Yagami, Kira. He would reprise his role as Rock in Black Lagoon: The Second Barrage in 2007. And then as we move into 2008, in Mobile Suit Gundam 00, he'd be cast as the English voices of Setsuna F. Sei, as well as Soran Abraham, young Setsuna. Then as we move ahead to 2009, he'd be cast as the voice of Charles in Flash and Dash. Then he would reprise his role as Amuro in 2009 in Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2 video game. He would reprise his role as Light Yagami Kira in Death Note Regarding Light Visions of a God, 2009. Then in the Barbie and the Three Musketeers movie, he'd be cast as the voices of Sergei and Handsome Man. He would then once again reprise his role as Light Yagami Kira in Death Note Regarding Light 2 L's Successors. Then as we move ahead to 2010, in Hero 108, he'd be cast as the voice of Yang Tu. In Dream Kicks, he'd be cast as the voices of Maury, Garrick, and Peter. Also in 2010, in the Dead Rising 2 video game, he'd be cast as the voices of Brent Ernst, Slappy, and Looters. And then as we move ahead to 2011, he would reprise his roles as both Amuro Ray and Setsuna F. Sei in Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 video game. Also in 2011, in the Ocean Studios dub produced Superbook animation, he'd be cast in the roles as the voices of Shepherd Boy, the Good Samaritan, Thomas, and Student Number 2. In the Geofreak short, he would be cast as the voice of Charles Nelson Freak. My guess is that's supposed to be a parody character of Charles Nelson Riley, because that's what it looks like. For those of you who don't know who Charles Nelson Riley was, he was an older actor from back in the 70s, did a few spots on Sid and Marty Krofft production, was also a regular panelist on the Match Game back in the 70s. So, in the Dead Rising 2 Off the Record video game, he would reprise his role as Brent Ernst and Slappy. In the anime Kurozuka, he would be cast as the English voice of Kuro. As we move ahead to 2012, in Street Fighter Tekken video game, he'd be cast as the English voice of Shin Kazuma. Then in 2013, in Black Lagoon, in the OVA of Black Lagoon, Roberta's Blood Trail, he would reprise his role as the English voice of Rock. In 2014, in Lolly Rock, he'd be cast as the voice of Charlie. In the anime Beat Diamond Fire Blast, he'd be cast as the English voices of Basara Kurofuchi, Kurochi, as well as B-Shot Ryu. In the 2016 Ratchet and Clank movie, he'd be cast as the voice of Ollie the Superfan. Then in 2017, in World Trigger, he'd be cast as the English voices of Jun Arashiyama and Ko Murakami. In Gintama, he'd be cast as the English voice of Shimaru Saito. In the Barbie video game hero movie, he'd be cast as the voice of Chris, K-R-I-S. In 2018, he'd be cast in Line Rangers as the voices of Moon and Mephisto. In Dragalia Lost, he'd be cast as the voices of Mikoto and Micah. Okay, in the Dragalia Lost video game, he'd be cast as the English voices of Mikoto and Micah. And in 2019, in Toba Athlon, he'd be cast as Athlon Rocky. And this year, in the 2020 short Marvel Battle World Mystery of the Thanos Stones, he'd be cast as the voice of Baby Groot. So those are all the roles of Brad Swaile. Those are all the roles of Brad Swaile. So with that, you guys, I hope you found that informative. I hope that if there are some series there that you've never seen Brad in, that you might go ahead and go watch him and check out his work. Um, try to get him invited to more cons if you wish, if you want to see it. Always remember, guys, if you want to if you want to meet a particular voice actor, what you got to do is you got to contact your local cons and ask them to invite them. Of course, that's when COVID's all over with and we're back to normal, getting back to going to cons on a regular basis for those who can. And with that, guys, if you'd like to contact me directly, you can either, comment in my discussion, part of my channel, or you can, contact me directly by messaging me on Discord. I will usually get back to you as soon as I can. Also, still promoting a bunch of different dub companies. You guys should check those out. Also, I'm still promoting Vic's GoFundMe as well as Tug's Indiegogo. If you get, always, guys, never feel like you have to donate. If it's on your heart to do so, you have the means to do so, please consider donating. if you would, if you have donated, if you've already donated, please consider donating again. And if you cannot donate, then you can still help out the cause by sharing, caring. You never know. Maybe somebody in your circle of friends would like to, may want to help out. Doesn't hurt to ask. And with that, guys, if you like this content, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I look forward to the conversations with you guys, as long as they're civil and respectful. Don't forget, I also stream Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, so I hope to see you guys on there as well. My streams catching the latest in niche news, and and sometimes even talking about classic stuff as well, classic niche as well. Let me see. Anything else there? Okay. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. I already went through all that. So with that, I hope you guys find this informative and entertaining, and I will talk to you later. Bye.